So this is Atlas from Soleil and Dash.
Hi. So I like that even though he took one look at me and was like, nope, and turned around, he was still wagging his tail and pro-social, so he's just a little bit, he's like, this is weird. But he's right, it is weird.
It is set up to be weird because he was outside saying hello to both you and Sue earlier.
Exactly. It's intentional. So that was a really good response. Hello, little boy. And then his time to actually approach me once he was finally like, okay, was really quick. So he's very friendly, outgoing little boy. He's a boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Hello. What you doing, puppy? The eye cookies.
She cried.
And he's got no issues with me cleaning up his eye right there, so he didn't even flinch or no tension or anything. Okay. Let me pick you up. Hi.
Are you gonna score? Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
But he is very content just to hang out here now that he has a person. He's also noticed you guys. Let's check this room out. You want to see things? Look at all this stuff. Look, we got toys. No, not ready yet. Look at this. What's this toy? All the puppies like this toy. He's very human aware. So by that I mean more than environmentally. He cares more about the people. So the second you set him down in here, he noticed me immediately, which a lot of puppies don't. A lot of puppies, it takes a second to process the environment, and then they're like, oh, there's a person. And then they're kind of like, if I stay still, after a bit, they're kind of like, that person's being weird. But he noticed right away, and then when I didn't immediately engage with him, he gave me that you're being weird look. So I said, that's when I started talking to him and said hi. And then he took a second to process that because I'm new and it's a weird setup. And then he came right over, and even now he's watching you guys over the gate because he noticed you. And he's more fixated on that than he is on anything in here. So I think with him, he's both kind of using that social reassurance with me as a way to kind of like put on the blinders and block out all of this. But he's also much more aware of the people in his environment. That's what catches his attention. So I think going forward, he's going to be a pretty outgoing little dog and very human oriented more than anything that's going on in the environment. He'll ignore a lot of stuff in the environment in order to focus on the people, and he's going to really use his handler for social referencing and reassurance. So he'll take his cues from you. And now he's warming up with me, and I'm getting more normal, happy puppy behavior. Boy, good boy. And you know, this environment that we set up in here is weird, and it's intentionally weird. So when I met him outside, he came right up and there was no hesitation. So we expect some degree of like that little like whoa
In the beginning, yeah.
in the beginning. Yeah, so we're watching how quickly he warms up, and we know that his response to stress follows that pattern, and that he does warm up pretty quickly. He's like, hey, stop talking and pay attention to me. You need to get your priorities straight, lady. And now he's starting to be a little more curious about the environment. He's subtle about it, but I can see his gaze going around and his nose is working. So let's see if I can get him actually playing and interacting now. Look, we got stuff here. Okay, come on. Let's go for a little walk.
Come on, puppy, puppy. Look at all this stuff. Come on, puppy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Look at this. Here. You wanna play with this?
He sees.
You see Carl over there?
He says, that's scary and weird. You'll protect me, right?
Here. We'll get rid of him. He'll go away.
Oh gosh. He's good at climbing. Pretty physically confident.
Let's look at this stuff. You wanna play on this? You got a ball. Smart boy.
He might be a whole lot more confident if he has a toy that he decides is fun, that he wants to carry around.
Good boy.
So he likes the balls. He's gonna bring it to me.
Good boy. What have you got? Oh, that's very smart. That's very smart. Good boy.
Good boy. So really strong retrieving instincts here. That's definitely what he likes. He says, I want to take this toy and sit in your lap with it. He's really sniffing it over, which is expected because these toys, you know, have been through 1,000 temperament tests, so they definitely are going to smell a little strange and like other puppies. But he's back to the social. So he's a social butterfly. He likes to people.
Okay, we got more stuff. Let's look at some of this. There we go. What do you think about that one? Good boy.
The slightest little noise and he's back over here. But that's okay. He's not shutting down with any of it. He's just wanting reassurance. And again, this is an intentionally challenging environment. And I like that he's now opening up and playing with a variety of toys. His response is just very consistent. He's like, I like these toys, but I like you more. And the best would be if I could just hang out in your lap and play with the toys. So I don't think he's going to be very independent. So if you want a dog that's going to go self-entertain and do his own thing elsewhere, he is not the boy for you. But if you want, you know, the dog that's going to be like your ride and die right hand little buddy, that's where he shines. And he wants the attention, so he's pretty pushy about asking for it. Not in a way that's like annoying or aversive. He's just persistent. He knows when I'm talking to the camera versus when I'm paying attention to him. So he's also pretty socially smart and aware, especially for a puppy this young.
Okay. Let's venture out. Come on.
It's like, no, I want my lap back.
Yeah. He says, no, let's not. But again, like outside, we saw he was pretty exploratory. So this is definitely a product of the weird, scary environment we've got him in. But this kind of tells you what he's going to do when he's stressed. And this is a pretty nice stress response. I mean, I'm going to stay happy, but I'm going to come back and get clingy with you is great, because then you can tell him what you want him to do. You can reassure him. You can take control of the situation. And this is what he's going to need when he's in new places. While he's young, he's going to need a lot of just being held and being allowed to process what's going on around him, which is pretty poodly.
Yeah.
And also, I think he's going to outgrow this and become a pretty confident dog if he's allowed this kind of exposure when he's young, where it's low pressure and he is just kind of, you're just chill about it. Just take him places, hang out with him, let him kind of do what he wants. If he wants to stay in your lap, that's fine. If he wants to go sniff and explore, that's fine. He'll probably want to greet people, that's fine. But don't throw him into it. Let him kind of decide it on his own. And I really think he's gonna become increasingly confident and outgoing and more exploratory, because he's definitely not shutting down. This is just his default stress reaction. So it's a good one. It's one that we like to see. What I would like to see is how willing he is to climb on different things, but he's just not interested. That's too far away from me.
Here, puppy.
When he has climbed on things, he's been pretty confident.
But why?
Yeah, he says, why?
But why if I can climb in your lap?
This has no point.
This has no point. Okay, all right. Hi. Look, we have some fun games. Let's play this game. Let's check this out. You might be interested in this. It smells good, huh? Here we go. It's over here. Oh, good boy. Good boy. I can't even get it on with him. So again, like once he understands something or feels confident with something, he's pretty assertive in his own way. So it's kind of a nicely balanced reaction. He's not overly assertive, but he's also not overly hesitant either. Now I like that he's stopping and thinking about this. He's not just banging it around. He's like, whoa, why? What happened? That was working a second ago. What happened? What happened? I'm going to show him that I can fix it. Okay. He's also pretty visual. He's looking at the food in there. I shouldn't have said anything. That redirected him to me immediately. Let's try that again, and this time I'm just going to be quiet. Okay, you got it. All right then, little mister. Here it is. Here. All right, so what we're seeing here is that he, one, is very smart. It only took him a couple of repetitions of me showing him that I can get him the thing for him to immediately just dispense with all this other nonsense and be like, hey lady, you put the lid on, take it off for me. And two, he was very quick to interact with me to reach the goal. So I'm not sure if his first couple of times when he ran over to me were more because of just his dependence on that social interaction and reassurance, or if it was more that he is actually asking for help. But regardless, as soon as he figured out, oh, the human can give me help, oh, well, that's just the best of both worlds. And he ran with it. So his social referencing and partnering is pretty high. I think he's going to, if that's encouraged at all, he's going to be really natural for working through problems with a person as opposed to independently, and for really trying to seek out help. Hi, I know. And now again, this is definitely him coming back to me to be like, where's the food? Make it come back. You did it before. Why can't you do it this time? Good boy.
So that's going to lend itself to a pretty high degree of biddability, trainability, desire to please, and a desire to work with you versus to be independent and solve things on his own, which totally lines up with the rest of everything we're seeing, but sometimes those aren't the same. And with him, they really are.
Good boy.
And you can see already he's getting braver and venturing out. And then the other thing that I learned from that, well, two things really. One is that he was very visual. So even with the tin where he can smell the food, he was visually seeing the food inside the tin, and that's what was directing him. So because we know this, it's just something to be aware of. These dogs that are very visual might have more of a little bit more of a chasing tendency, or they might be thrown by sudden visual weird stimuli, or distracted by it if you're trying to do training, things that you wouldn't normally think of, like birds flying. Any type of movement is probably going to catch his attention, or anything that he sees in the environment that doesn't line up, that just looks weird. Like, for example, I was hiking the other day with my dogs, and there was a tree that had fallen down, and we passed a dozen trees that had fallen down, but this one, the way that it fell, I guess it twisted, but the break in the tree looked weird. It was different. We even commented that it looked weird and was different and was kind of cool, but it threw my dog. She was like
what is that? And you wouldn't expect something like that. So a lot of times, even though we're really visual, their way of seeing things and their understanding of what they're seeing is different. And so with him, I think visual things are going to throw him more. Every dog has something, and his is visual, more than smells, more than sounds, more than anything else. And then he also, with the food, became way more confident. So I can't remember if I said this already, but I'm guessing he's pretty food motivated and is going to, food increases his arousal and confidence, which is good. So if you need to boost his confidence, use food. Not to lure him into situations where he's overwhelmed, but in order to work with him, train him, reward him, things like that, more than toys. The toys he liked, but they didn't have this confidence boosting effect. And there we have the shake off, so that's the stress release. So now he's really ready to explore the environment. And again, we see he's pretty curious and outgoing. Good boy. And I like too that even as he's exploring, he's stopping and he's asking me, he's like, what are we doing here? What is the goal of this? What do you want me to look at? What do you want me to do? Good boy. And there he's doing it again. So he's doing it really consistently. So he's going to be very trainable, and he has a desire to work with a person and just have that. For him, it's not even about the job, it's about the partnership. So I think he would be a great candidate for for things, but you would want to get him out so that he's more, so that outgoingness expands to a wider range of environments. He's found the food again. All right, I'm gonna try the. And again, you see that was the visual. It was me raising this up. That's what startled him. So when you're working with him, know that that's what's gonna throw him in the environment. What do you think? This thing's gonna be scarier in a second. Yeah? You can sit in my lap for this. And I'm not doing it as hard as I sometimes will because it'll be really echoey in here, and he's already seeing this. But again, he's thinking about it. It's not that he's afraid of it, it's that he doesn't know what it is, and he's processing. So he's gonna go explore it. So he's inherently got a lot of confidence and environmental solidity, but he is very smart, which means he wants to know and understand what all these things are before you're gonna see that confidence. But he listens to you when you tell him. Like, all it took was me doing my fingers like this, and see, he comes right over to explore it. So he's taking his cues from me. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, you're very brave and smart. You are. You're a good puppy. Good puppy. Okay, let's do the umbrella. This one is the one you're probably not gonna like. Closer to me than I would like it to be. There we go. Again, predictably, a little bit of a startle response. You're a little weirded out by it. What do you think about this? But notice how much more outgoing he becomes the second I initiate. That's your key with this guy. So I think there's a wide range of things that he would be really good at doing, from just active companion to doing some sports or training if you wanted to do that, to even therapy dog work. The only thing he's going to need is the more demanding the tasks that you expect him to do, the more work you're going to need to put in on the front end just to socialize and build that relationship so that he learns more about a wider range of things. Because for him, it's very mental. He just needs to learn what a whole bunch of stuff is so that he's building that encyclopedia in his brain, and he'll be fine. So there's no inherent worries. He needs the opportunity to learn. If you're going to have high demands. If you're not going to have high demands, then I think with him you could even be fairly lax with his socialization, as lax as we would ever be with a puppy, and he would still be pretty solid and confident because he is very inherently solid, and he will really take his signals from you, especially increasingly as you get a relationship with him. I would love to put that umbrella up, but I don't want to move it again. Well, there he goes. And his recovery time's really quick. I know. There's lots of weird stuff here, isn't there? Yeah, I know. Okay, let's do the smell test. That's the last one. That's the last one. Well, he smells it through the plastic bag. Or at least he saw it. What do you think about that?
Look at that tail go.
You think? I'm putting it down here.
He was very curious and interested in it, but it ranks lower than straight up social interaction for him. So he has a good nose. He could do scent games, I think. He could easily be taught. It would just have to be the fun thing that you guys did together, and then he would love it. He was very aware of it. He was interested and curious about it. No aversion to the strong smell. Just not as important in his world as straight up human interaction. So this is a social boy. He's very sweet. A little bit pushy, but not overly. All right. Any questions?